Hi, everybody, and welcome back. So, we're just going to get right into it today. A few things that you might want to have available, because we're going to work on some hamstring stuff. Blocks, if you have them. If you don't have blocks, books or a few stacks of books make great blocks to make the ground closer to us. A strap if you have it, although I have some cues so you don't need a strap. But if you have it and would like to use it, go for it. If you have sensitive knees, a blanket or a towel to sit up on. Other than that, let's get started. And we're going to get started by lying on our back. And hug both knees into the chest. Keeping the feet uncrossed, hugging the knees in by grabbing the opposite arm. And maybe rock back and forth, side to side, massaging out the back. Feel your inhales and exhales expand the lungs and press against the thighs. And keeping your right knee drawn in, extend your left foot down to the mat. And then if you're not using a strap, take your fingertips, interlace them underneath your right knee and slowly extend your knee out long. Flex the toes, reach the heel up towards the sky. If you're using a strap, you just wrap it all around the ball of the foot, making sure to avoid the arch of the foot. And pull the toes towards your face. And send your breath up and down your right hamstring. There's a quote that I love to talk about. I talked about it in the yoga class I taught this Monday. As goes the breath, so goes the mind. As goes the mind, so goes the breath. I've been noticing I've been feeling very unfocused the past couple weeks. Go ahead and bend the right knee. Take a hold of the outside of the right foot with the right fingertips and bend the knee and pull it down into the mat. Almost like a happy baby, but only on one side. So I've been feeling incredibly unfocused. And even in my yoga practice, feeling very unfocused, and noticed in my yoga practice that I wasn't breathing so well. I wasn't focusing on it. I was breathing really shallow. And the moment I started breathing deeply, I was able to be a little more into my practice. Allow your hold of the right foot to go. Hug both knees in. And then bring the right sole of the foot to the mat. If you're not using a strap, interlace your fingers underneath your knee and begin to extend your left knee, flex the toes, heel reaches for the sky. If you're using a strap, just around the ball of the left foot. And we can bring this breathing idea into any aspect of our lives. As we slow down our breathing and lengthen it and deepen it, we become more focused, more calm. It's like the example I always give. When you tell a child, many of us are teachers or parents or both, what do you tell your child when they're throwing a fit? Take a few deep breaths. Letting go of the strap or the interlace of the fingers, bend the left knee, take a hold of the outside of the left foot with the left hand and draw the knee down towards the mat. As goes the breath, so goes the mind. As goes the mind, so goes the breath. Something to think about today. Let's see if throughout this practice today we can tune into the breath, whether or not the movements are correct. It's really not a big deal. Let's see if we can get the breath going. And draw both knees back into the chest. One more big hug. Maybe draw your forehead up towards your knees. And exhale, let it go. Slowly rock and roll yourself up to sit. Cross the ankles, roll over them, coming onto all fours. Here, if you have sensitive knees, is a good place to put your towel or folded blanket underneath your knees. Grip fingertips into the mat, pull the belly button to spine. And we'll take a few rounds of cat-cow. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, tailbones lift. And as you exhale, press into the mat, arch and round the spine, tuck the chin, pull belly button to spine. On your inhales, take your cow by dropping the belly. Exhales, cat, rounding the spine. And see if you can really, truly move with your breath. Have your breath be in control of every single movement that you make. It helps you get a little deeper, helps you feel a little stronger. One more. And on your next inhale, pause at center. And then send your right foot out long, turn the heel down, and reach the right arm up and over the ear. Nice big side stretch. Press the outside of the right foot into the mat. Gaze up towards the sky. And exhale, circle the hand down, bring the knee back underneath you. Extend your left foot out long, turn the heel down, and as you inhale, circle the left arm up and over the ear. Press into the outside edge of the left foot, stack the shoulders. Press the shin into the ground. And on your exhale, circle the hand down. Good. We're going to take puppy pose, which is a great lead up to downward facing dog. We're going to keep our hips directly over our knees and slowly walk our hands out as our chest lowers and drop our head. Now, if your head is very far away from the mat, you can take a block and rest your forehead on the block, just kind of between the elbows. If you're nice and open, your forehead may come to the ground. And in this action, in this puppy dog, little downward facing dog, reach the tailbone up towards the sky and sink the heart through the shoulders. Grip the fingertips into the mat and pull the belly button to spine to protect the low back. And on your next inhale, slowly walk the hands back in. Yeah, so puppy dog works the upper body that we need. When downward facing dog kind of takes the legs out of it. Take one more cow, one more cat. And then maybe coming up onto tented fingers, step your right foot between your palms. And blocks are especially great here if you need them. Plant your blocks on either side of the left ankle, left foot. Send your hips back so your left hip stacks over your left knee. Flex your right toes. Use blocks to bring the ground to you as you fold. Half Hanuman, half splits. Press the right heel into the mat and flex the toes. Pull belly button to spine to find length. It's not about getting our forehead to our knee, it's about finding length in our spine. And sending breath up and down the right hamstring. Can you slow down your breath, deepen it? Awesome, and walk yourself forward and bend into the front knee. Place your blocks back to the front of the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up towards the sky, crescent lunge. Sink the hips down, shoulder blades draw down, the back gaze looks up towards the sky. If you want to take a few rocks in your crescent lunge, that also sometimes feels good, or you can hold it just where it is. Breathe into the upper chest, collarbones expand. And exhale, circle the hands down to frame the front foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Bring the back foot up a little bit, over a little bit, shortening and widening your stance. Turn the foot down so it's at a deep angle. Toes are almost facing forward. And inhale, sweep the arms up. Warrior one. So with warrior one, our hips are closed. Both hip points are facing the front of the mat, and generally we need to shorten and widen the stance to do that to accommodate the hips, the width of the hips. So same drawing down of the shoulders as we had in crescent lunge, extension through the side body. And on your exhale, send your arms behind you, interlace the fingers behind you. If interlacing doesn't work, grabbing opposite elbows. Okay, I'm going to interlace my fingers and reach your heart up towards your sky, towards the sky. Exhale, reach the heart forward and down, devotional warrior. The palms can be together or apart. Attempting to lift the hands off the low back, or we can have grabbing opposite elbows if interlacing isn't there today. Tuck the chin and let go of the interlace of the hands. Send the right arm down, cartwheel it up, straighten through the right leg to heel toe the left foot out long. And now open the hips, settle down, warrior two. So now you can see the difference between warrior one and warrior two. In warrior one, we were facing straight ahead. Warrior two, our hips are more at a diagonal. Not totally open, but a little bit of a diagonal. Good. Inhale, send your left fingertips up to meet the right. Exhale, bend the left knee, straighten the right, flex the right toes. Rainbow warrior. Good. Inhale, bring the right foot back to the earth, circle the arms, warrior two. Let's do that again, in case we didn't get it the first time. Inhale, the left fingertips to the right. Exhale, bend the left knee, flex the right toes. And inhale, cartwheel it back. On your way through warrior two, tilt it back, peaceful warrior. Straighten through the front, the right knee, reach the right arm out and down. Coming into triangle. A block on the outside of the foot works great, or as I have it here, my hand is just on my shin. If you don't have blocks. Stack the shoulders, spread the collarbones. Can you find your breath here? Good, and from here, bend into the right knee. Bring your right forearm to right thigh. Reach your left arm up and over the ear. Extended side angle. If you want to play and go a little bit further, the right hand can always come to a block on the outside of the foot or all the way to the mat. But we don't want to sacrifice getting lower sacrifice our length to get lower, or our breath. Good, exhale, cartwheel the left hand down, turn up the left heel, bring the left knee to the ground, and step the right heel to meet it. Good, let's take another one of our puppy poses before doing the other side. So hips are all over the knees, keeping them there as we walk the hands out. Bringing a block under the forehead or forehead to the mat if it's there. Send the heart through the shoulders. Keep the forearms lifted up off of the mat. Just the hands and fingers touch. I'll move my block. Just the hands and fingers touch. That action is what stretches the shoulders. I love puppy pose. Not just because I love puppies. All right, walk your hands back in. And then maybe coming up on fingertips to give yourself some space, step your left foot forward. And then blocks, if you need it, slowly shift your hips so your right hip is over your right knee. Flex your right toes, bring your blocks wherever you need them. Find length in your spine and fold. And this side maybe feels completely different, because it does for me. I don't know why my left side is so sore today, but my right side isn't. The chin can tuck and the head can hang, but try and keep your belly button pulled to spine to keep the low back nice and long. Find your breath. Send it up and down your leg. Awesome, and slowly bend into the left knee. Bring the left foot back to the earth. Set your blocks back up at the front of the mat and sweep the arms up to the sky. Maybe taking a few rocking motions in the hips if that feels good. Keep the belly button pulled to spine so we don't overarch the back. Lower ribs draw in. Good, and exhale, bring the hands down to the mat. Tuck the right toes, lift the right knee, hop the right foot up and over, shortening and widening our stance for our warrior one. Sweep the arms up, bend into the left knee. Right heel is down on the mat. Reaching evenly through both sides of our body. And then swim your fingers behind you. Interlace the fingers if you're interlacing. The opposite way, if you don't remember, it's the way that feels weird. And cross your elbows the opposite way, the way that feels weird. Inhale, reach the heart up towards the sky. Exhale, then reach it forward and down. Lift your interlaced fingers off of your low back. Left shoulders in contact with, or well, reaching towards the left knee, because it doesn't have to touch. Press evenly into both feet. Let go of the interlace of the fingers. Right arm leads as it cartwheels up and around, widen the stance. Warrior two. Now our arms reach in opposition. Our back foot is on less of a diagonal. And our hips are on a little bit of a diagonal. Reach the right fingertips forward to meet the left. Exhale, straighten the left knee, bend the right, sit it back, rainbow warrior. As you inhale, right foot comes back to the ground, cartwheel the arms open, warrior two. Since you did twice on the other side, you're going to do twice on this side. Inhale the right fingers forward. Exhale, sit the hips, rainbow warrior. Inhale, sweep the arms around, warrior two, moving through to peaceful warrior. Reach the left arm up, straighten the left leg, and reach out and down for triangle. Stack the shoulders, lift the gaze. Good, and bend into the left knee. Bring the left forearm to the left thigh as you stack the shoulders. And reach the right arm up and over the ear. If you would like to go a little further, the left hand can come to a block or the floor on the outside of the left knee. I'm going to stay lifted though. And exhale, cartwheel the right hand down to the mat. Come up on lift the right heel, bend the right knee to the mat. Step the left foot back. Back in all fours. And we're just going to lower ourselves to the mat. So sending your hips a little bit forward beyond your knees, so your shoulders stack directly over your wrists. So bend your elbows back and lower your body all the way down to the mat. Good, and then setting up for Sphinx. So bringing your forearms to the mat, elbows are slightly ahead of the shoulders. I like to give a little tuck, pull in of the belly, and lay it back down. It kind of helps uncrunch my low back. It helps me find a little bit more space. So try it. All 10 toes are on the ground. Pull up through the belly button, broaden the collarbones, shoulders down the back, maybe close the eyes. I'm going to send the heart through the shoulders, through the arms. Gaze straight ahead, not up. Straight ahead. Good, and on your exhale, widen your elbows and lower your torso all the way to the mat. And just roll over where you are. Send your arms overhead and roll over. Bend your knees so the soles of your feet come to the mat close enough so that your fingertips can brush your heels, just the very tips of your fingers. And then press into the feet, lift just the tailbone, and then reach the tailbone towards your heels, a slight tuck in the pelvis, and then press even more to lift your pelvis even more. Interlace your fingers and shimmy the shoulders underneath you, and press your heart towards the front of your room. Reach your tailbone behind you towards the back of the room. Nice strong legs support us here. More support in the lower body than so much in the upper body. Although your arms press into the mat a little bit. Good, and exhale, let go of the interlace of the fingers and lower down, nice and slowly. Send your arms out in a T. I have a couch in my way, so I might need to bend one elbow. Send your arms out in a T. Press your feet down into the mat again. Give your hips just a little shift to the left. It's a very little shift, just so we can then send our knees to the right. For a spinal twist. both shoulders, try and stay on the mat. You can gaze straight up towards the sky or in the opposite direction of your knees. Maybe close the eyes. And take a moment to reflect on the past couple days and how they felt for you. Maybe they felt great, and that's great. Maybe they felt kind of bad, and how did they feel bad? What made them feel bad? And then, using your core, bring your knees back up through center. Bringing the soles of the feet back to the mat, center the hips for a moment. And then just gently press the feet into the mat, give the hips a hop to the right, send the knees to the left. Gaze can go towards the right. And if your past few days went well, what was it that you did that helped them to go well? Or if they were tough, what caused them to be tough, and then follow up? What can we do to make them better? And don't get me wrong, this isn't all going to be sunshine and rainbows. We're all going to have bad days and good days. But learning how to cope with the bad days, I think, is the most important. Or how to bounce back from the bad days. Using the strength of your core, slowly begin to draw your knees up through center. Feet come back to the mat. Hug in your knees. Hug your forehead to your knees. And slowly rock and roll to sit one more time. So if you have a blanket or a folded up towel and you have tight hips, this is especially great. So just sitting up on the edge of your blanket or towel. I'm actually going to move mine out of the way, but you can sit up on it. Draw the soles of your feet together. Draw them in nice and close towards the body. Wrap your fingers around your feet. Bring the outside edges of the feet together and open the arches away like you're opening up a book of your feet. As you inhale, find length. This is what the blanket and towel are great for, finding length. Exhale, hinge forward. You want to keep a nice long spine, not round. See, I can look like I go a lot farther when I round, but it actually doesn't feel so good on my low back. Keep the low back nice and long, navel engaged. Just tuck the chin. If you'd like to use your elbows to press into your thighs to, hint to your knees that you would like them to get a little bit lower, you can. Or if it doesn't feel good, that doesn't feel good. If anything is too intense, move your feet farther away from you. If you want a little bit more, move your feet closer to you. And slowly press yourself up. Use your hands to help your knees come back together and send your legs out long. Again, sitting up on the blanket, if you have tight hamstrings, feels really, really good here, just on the very, very edge. to give our hips a little lift. Bring the big toes into contact, into touch if you can. Press the fingers into the mat and reach the crown of the head up nice and tall. On your inhale, sweep the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, hinge at the waist. Taking a hold of the outside of the feet. If you have your strap, I lost mine, but here it is. If you have a strap, wrapping it on the outside of the feet is great. If not, don't worry about it. Take the shins wherever you can reach. Allow each inhale to help you find a little space, and each exhale gets you a little bit deeper, even if it's a micromillimeter deeper. And then slowly walk yourself back up. Remove anything that you're sitting on and come to lie on the back for Shavasana. Legs extended out long. Arms a little bit away from the body, palms facing up. Close the eyes or soften the gaze. And now any amount of control you are using on your breath, let that go. Allow your allow your breath to be natural. Allow it to fall in your body where it wants to. Allow it to be as deep or shallow as it wants to be. And just rest here for a few moments. I will be back to wake you up. Allow your next breath to be just a little bit deeper. The breath after that, deeper still. Slowly bring movement back into the body by wiggling fingers, toes, maybe rolling the wrists and ankles, or reaching the arms up overhead for a full body stretch. Then Bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet to the mat, and roll completely over onto your right side. Press your hand into the mat to lift you back up to sit. Hands find prayer at the heart. Namaste.